30 hertz straight up.
Hello, you guys. Thank you for joining in to another wonderful episode of Lupus Has No Face podcast, and I am your host, Savannah. We will be discussing ink and resilience, a journey through pain, experiencing an intimate conversation with a poet, Treva Gray, where she barely reveals how she channeled personal suffering into pain and art. We got our special guest, Treva Gray, today. How you doing, honey?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, I'm all over the place.
Look, but you're here tonight, so that's the important thing.
Thank you. So first, I would like to thank you for even taking out your time at your busy day to even be on here on this platform. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. No, I thank you for even providing me the opportunity to be here. So
Well, you're such an amazing person. I was going through your stuff. I said, I gotta have her.
I'm a busy person.
You are a busy person. And then the things that's going on with you, which we're going to refer back to later, like you have fibromyalgia. So fibromyalgia and lupus and all that stuff actually goes together. So I was just like, oh, and she doesn't look like she has fibromyalgia. Right?
You know what? I tell people all the time, a diagnosis does not have a look. If we are as healthy as we can possibly be, we never look like what we're growing through. So, yeah, a lot of people think that you have to look like something to have a diagnosis.
Oh, I know. So before we get to going, who is Treva Gray? Who is she? Who is the poet? Who is the lady that is healing through her pain?
Well, again, my name is Treva Gray. I am a self-published author, a poet, a public speaker, a mental health advocate. I am also a caregiver of 16 years. So I specifically work as a medical assistant with people who go through like pain management, who go through a lot of this similar journey, and have to deal with the psychological piece of it as well. So yeah, I'm a queen of all trades, I would say.
I see, and one of the big things that we're going to be discussing is mental health and fibromyalgia today. So tell me, how did you become an author? Like, what made you want to become an author? What is your book about? Where is it? How they can find it?
Okay.
Let's touch a little bit on that.
Yeah, so I've been a poet for decades. I've been writing poetry since I was 10 years old. Um, I always knew that I wanted to tell my story, my healing, my journey to other people because I just knew that I wasn't the only kid in the world looking for help. So I've always written poetry. And then probably in like high school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with poetry, if I wanted to go into journalism or things like that. So I just let my poetry just pile up, like pages are tanned and everything, just let it pile up. Um, but in my early 20s is when I stated, like I want to put my poetry out there as a part of my healing journey. At that time, it wasn't about selling, it wasn't about money, it was just the
Yeah,
freedom that come with healing. Yeah. When I started going into therapy, I realized that in order to heal mentally, you got to be able to be accountable. You got to be able to face a
absolutely.
lot of your truths and things like that. And so I said, you know what? I want to just turn this into a book just to say that I did it because it's a part of my journey and it can never go anywhere um,
Absolutely.
other than with me. And so I self-published about 4 years ago.
So let's just take it back a little bit. What made you want to start journaling? Was that your outlet because of your healing of what you were going through?
Yep. As a kid, I started journaling, just writing. I think when I were in elementary school, we had something called like daily oral language or something like that, where we would have a prompt to work on like grammar and things like that in the beginning of the class. But for me, it was more than just that prompt. That prompt more than likely led me to writing or, um, when I'm at home, I can't really talk about a lot of things. So I will write them out.
What were you battling at that time?
Um, as a kid, as a little girl, I'm the youngest of three. I
Mm-hmm.
have two older brothers. Um, I think I was battling some of what many young kids and little girls battle, whether it was neglect from parenting, um, an aggressive household,
Mm.
um, rape, molestation. And so our household was kind of strict. We had dad and mom, they both worked, but our parents really instilled into to us how important it was to get good grades.
Absolutely.
Um, but the way they instilled into us was different at that time. You either right or you wrong, and it turned some people into like becoming perfectionists. So as a kid, I had to focus on getting everything right, not really dissecting what I was going through as an 8-year old, 9-year old, 10-year old. Um, so I chose to write. I wrote everything out, a good day, a bad day. If I didn't like how my mom handled something or my dad handled something, we can't talk back to our parents, or we
Definitely.
we don't have a way of expressing emotion in a household other than it looking like you're talking back. So I chose to write whenever I had the opportunity to.
And how did you feel? Did you feel like free? I got it off my chest. Somebody listened to me. Somebody hearing me. Somebody see me. Like, what did you feel through that pen?
As a kid writing, I felt just a lot of pain. Simply because our household was very different. Our friends looked at us like, oh, they got it made. They are in nice clothes. Her hair is always done. They're in sports. They get good grades. But nobody knew like the challenges that our household went through behind closed doors. My family was also separated at a very young age because I had a brother who went to prison for a long time. So we had a lot of stuff going on in the home. But of course, you better not go to school telling anybody. You better not go to school crying. If you got your butt whooped and you got a bruise or you got popped in your mouth, you better not say I did it, because all of our parents were worried about child protective services, and people, getting in their business. So just like a lot of minorities or even black households, you need to be quiet.
Mm.
What goes on here stays here. And so I took it from the house to my notebook.
That's really what it was, and that's really what it is to this day. To a certain extent, I can just speak for myself. But for me, when I say what goes on in my household stays in his household, I let my kids know, like, if you can't talk to me, talk to somebody that you trust. I don't care who it is, as long as somebody that you trust. If you can't come to me with it, at least I know the people that surround me, they can trust, and we all can handle it collectively. Because I would, what I'm saying, they would come back to me without
Mm-hmm.
breaking that trust of the children, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I did say those words, but I handled it in a different way. And I was one of those. I am one of those parents. And a lot of people don't agree with me, but I'm one of those parents that allow my kids to speak how they feel respectfully. I feel like kids need to be able to articulate, whether they're screaming or whatever it is that they feel at the time. They need to be able to get that out, because if they don't get that out, they're going to behave in a different way at a different time, right? So, and I got some backlash on that, from some people that I know, but to me, I feel like a child is supposed to express themselves. You do have a voice respectfully, and to me, that's not talking back. You know what I mean? That's not talking back. So, I just said that to totally understand like what you were saying and what could have probably been implemented at that time to make it better. It's not a rule book that comes with parenting. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, it was just all about making sure I didn't miss a beat. I'm there in every way possible. So I say, like, if I'm not doing something, you have to tell me. You know what I'm saying? Because we only human. So that was for me in my household, because me being a busy parent and doing what it is I do, you don't want to miss nothing. So I had that talk early on with my children. So but I don't want you to spill all the beans now, because I'm definitely bringing you back to touch on that. But the reason why we're here today is because you're healing through pain because of your invisible illnesses and the mental health portion of it. Yeah. So let's touch on why mental health is so important to you, and how does that correlate with the invisible illnesses?
For me, mental health is all we have, second to our higher power, whomever a person may believe in. And we're not taught as kids or to protect our mental health. We're not taught that how to express our emotions. We're not taught to talk about things. Most households in this, decades back, be quiet, hold it in, man up, fix it. Doesn't matter if you're a boy or girl. Like, you have to keep pushing. In the household I came up in, you better not get caught crying unless you done got a whooping. Like, man up, And so a lot of that carried on in life, whether it was a coping mechanism with work and just everything. Like, a lot of people are not given the opportunity as kids to choose. They're not given the opportunity to say, hey, this doesn't make me feel good. And when you let time go by, you got decades or years on top of years, and you have this kid that may be full of rage. They may become rebel. Oh, definitely. Definitely. That's why I used to write. I'm like, I'm gonna tell somebody gonna find these secrets, okay? I wasn't the girl who had the diary about the little no. I found myself screaming for help in a different way. Whether it was aggressiveness in school, being what people say are bad, or standing up to the teacher. My mom said that I could stand up to everybody but my mom. You get what I'm saying? And so
what did that look like? Standing up to the teacher?
It looked like if the teacher wrong, prove her wrong. It looked like the kid that didn't get enough sleep. Yeah, she had breakfast, her hair is combed, she's clean, but she didn't get enough sleep because she went to sleep with too much on her mind. She went to sleep crying from being bullied. She went to sleep from being molested and nobody believed her. You get what I'm saying? Like, she lost sleep because she had to battle so much on her own, because nobody heard her. Nobody wanted to hear her. And it's not to throw shade at my parents.
No.
This is something that I think myself and other millennials that are truly on their journey of healing is unlearning, unraveling, and having to face on their journey of self-discovery.
So as you got older, when did you discover that mental health was important to you? And how did you cope with that?
Probably in my early 20s.
So what were you doing at the time where you was like, my peace of mind is important, or you know, my mind is just not getting any rest, or like what was you doing at that moment that you realized?
I was surviving.
Mm,
Um, I didn't, when I got out of high school, I don't even think I even embraced the fact that, hey, you made it across the stage. You could have been anywhere else on the streets. You could have been, you know, with multiple kids. You made it across the stage. Like, I didn't even take the time to realize that I did that. It was like, well, apply to college. Well, what are you going for? I don't know. I never thought about what I dreamt of doing or what I desired to do. It was, you got to go to college for something. You ain't gonna be no good without a college degree. Get to going, you know. And our parents only taught us what they had or what they knew with what they had.
mhm.
So of course you hear the terms, I want you to be better than me, I want you to do better than me, all those things. Um, I had a lot of priorities as a young black girl. Um, and so at that time I was in college working two jobs, trying to make sure I don't fail my parents. Um, just going.
So you're going through life at this moment, making sure you don't disappoint your parents. You're not even thinking about how you feeling, what you want, and
I
what
had
you
even
desire.
overlooked the fact that, hey, I might be sick. I got some things going on with my body, but that's not even important right now because I got to keep going.
So let's touch on that. So why did you think you were sick?
So I've always been the kid that was into health science and things like that, but I also had the responsibility of taking care of my parents at a very young age. So my parents were ill when I were younger. Um, and it's something about me where that I can truly almost like predict the future in a good and a bad way. Maybe I saw too much at a young age. Reality is reality. Um, but the trauma that came with taking care of my parents, and I'm like, well, if I don't do this with my body or take care of myself this way and blah blah blah, I'm going to be like this. Um, but I studied in middle school. I started studying health science a whole lot, so I started learning about the body, why this is happening to my mom or my dad, and it just took me down a whole different road of healthcare in general. But my body started to change as a teenager. I started to experience things that my classmates and things like that didn't, or I had to sit out during certain times, or things like that, because like my body would be giving out.
So what
Um,
do you mean? So like, tell me, walk me through an episode.
I was an athlete.
Okay.
An athlete. I played basketball, volleyball, everything, and there will be days, seventh, eighth grade, that I can't walk, or I have like not trembles, but what feel like frogs jumping in my body. Well,
Mm.
this is a healthy kid. She's healthy. She doesn't have any health history. Oh, she's just going through a growth spurt. A growth spurt.
They called it a growth spurt.
She's just going through a growth spurt. But back then, they weren't. When you go to a doctor or a kid go to a doctor, they weren't doing the mental health. Are you safe at home? Questionnaire.
Oh yeah, they definitely
They
do
weren't doing that then. And I'm saying that because I have to do this on every kid that I see now,
Mhm.
or even adult. So then our parents, being parents, whether they were the best parents or not the greatest parents, were getting away with a lot of just overlooking things.
Mhm.
Because in their mind, we went to school, we got good grades, um, we stayed out of trouble. Well, we stayed out of trouble to the forefront. Um, and we met the expectations of our parents. But I don't think our parents understood that this could be stress on our kid. They could be, she could be acting up in school because she angry. Let's talk to her about it. Instead of like, I would get in trouble. I was not the best kid.
Firecracker.
Man, it was down. Okay, I was that firecracker because like I was tired. I was exploding. Like everything that was going on at home, it wasn't peaches and cream. I got tired of being the kid that had to get it right all the time. I had no room to make mistakes, no room to make errors, no grace, no mercy, nothing. I had to be perfect. We had to get straight. We couldn't bring in anything less than to be in our home.
That's how I am too.
But the way it was instilled in us, it's a different.
I
When you
get
say
it.
do this or this is going to happen, where you say it versus teaching me why it's so important, and if I can make a mistake, learn from a mistake. Uh, so a lot of like hiccups that I go through in life right now, I'm learning and unlearning because I didn't have it in my childhood. But a lot of people don't understand that kids deal with stress.
Oh yeah. Oh
Kids
yeah.
deal with
Oh yeah.
um when a kid is telling you that this does other than the stomach ache, trying to stay home from school or something like that, when your kid is like, I can't walk or my arms giving out or something like that, like it's time to like people have to pay attention to their kids. You get what I'm saying? We were athletes. Nothing can happen to a healthy athlete. BS. And so when we talked about me being unhealthy, like I was healthy but unhealthy. I didn't find out until like I didn't get fully diagnosed with my fibro until like my early 20s when I started to say I had to slow down. My body slowed me down.
Mm.
My body slowed me down. Like I got to a point where I'm like, yeah, I can go to school, I can go to work and this, that, there, and other, but I'm fatigued. I'm tired all the time. I'm not getting sleep. Like I'm just going, going, going. And you know, after so many years of being overlooked, whether it's by your parents or a doctor, you say, look, I'm going to give up. I'm tired. Or you say, I'm going to get some help. I know my parents aren't healthy. I know that we have a history of musculoskeletal or neurological issues in our family. And just because we look healthy, don't mean that we may have that one rare gene or, you know, things like that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I started taking my mental health more seriously in my early 20s and got into therapy. And that's when I said, you know what, we're going to slow down and we're going to focus on ourselves, myself.
So everything happened in your 20s. You took mental health serious in your 20s and you got diagnosed properly in your 20s with fibromyalgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what does that look like today?
What it look like today?
What do your mental health look like today?
It looks like my mental health looks like putting Treva first.
Okay, what that means?
Putting testimonial poetry first. That's my stage name. It looks like caring for people, but not taking on their problems.
Say that again.
I'm
Say
so
that
serious.
again.
I'm so serious. Like, and everybody has their breaking point or that area in life when they say, you know what, I'm tired of taking care of everybody else. It's time for me. You get what I'm saying? And you know, going through doctor's appointments and stuff like that in my early 20s, nobody able to figure out what's going on, but I know what I'm going through. You get what I'm saying? You may not feel it, but I know what I'm going through. I know that my grades are dropping now. I know that I can't make it through anymore. And so when my body started to, what I felt like fail me, I knew that it was time to really get like help on the mental standpoint and figure out what's going on with me. If we can't figure out scientifically what's going on with me, well, let me figure out what's going on up here, because if this ain't working right, my nervous system ain't gonna work right.
Absolutely.
If my nervous system ain't gonna work right, then I can't show up for nobody.
Absolutely.
And so right now at 36, it looks healing and my mental health looks a little selfish, but I don't care.
That's not selfish. I love that for you.
Thank
I
you.
love that for you. A lot of people need to do that, because when you start doing that, of course you're gonna get backlash.
Yeah.
Right? Because the people that you stop being kind to gonna notice that you stop being kind to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna start feeling some type of way. But in reality, when you were being kind to them, you were the doer. You was the glue that kept it together.
Exactly.
And so once you just stop, it's you acting funny, but no, I'm not acting funny because why you not calling or why you not doing?
Yeah.
Like, where is it that you're picking up the slack?
Mm-hmm.
You missed all of the kindness that I was doing. So that lets me know that you weren't doing anything.
Yeah, and when you go through that type of mental like turmoil and stress, um, it it puts someone in a mindset of depression, and it's it's so unfortunate that depression is normal to our culture, to our society. Um, and when I say that it's normal, people think that everybody goes through it. We do, but it's not normal to our body. It is not supposed to take place on our body the way it does. It is not supposed to affect our nervous system, and wear us down or cause us to have strokes or things like that. No, that is not why we're here on earth. Um, and you have some people, they can't control their childhood, and their background and household while they're young.
Right.
But you also don't have to wait till you're 18 to take control.
Right. So that's what I was going to say. Like, so at some point in your life, you are accountable because you can't blame how you grew up as how you are today because you have
Yeah.
a choice now, right?
You have a choice, and you have to truly be tired of hurting mentally and physically. You have to be tired of uh, people taking advantage of you, being conditioned. You have to want to change that mindset of what you thought was normal or okay. Um, you know, it's unfortunate when people cannot grow up and watch their grandparents get old or their great aunts get old because they done died off early. Oh, they had a stroke or a heart attack or that run in the family. No, it don't run in the family. It's a habitual behavior, and it's a condition where it can be stopped. You get what I'm saying?
Because you can
Certain things
control
don't
it.
run in the family. It's a reason. Oh, grandma just fell over and had a heart attack. Who knew grandma's story? Grandma had a heart attack because grandma ain't asked for help. Grandma
Mm,
had a heart attack because grandma took care of her kids, your kids, they kids, and grandma. You get what I'm saying? And so, just because we saw
absolutely.
somebody else go through it, don't mean that that's. I'm strong and independent, but I ain't going down that path. Mm-mm.
No,
I'm cool.
exactly. Like for me, like it. I didn't know when I was stressed out. Like I didn't know that I ever was stressed out, but I started paying attention to my body and my ways, right? And so when I start acting a certain way, I learned later on in life that I'm stressed out, like when my chest started feeling in a ball or something like that. So I couldn't differentiate if it was, you know, a new condition starting with my illness or if I was really actually stressed out. You know what I mean? Because everything is not our illness; it's across us,
You're
right?
not your diagnosis.
Exactly. So, I said it to say like when I'm not feeling well, like if I'm having chest pain or something like that, I'll call somebody close to me. Like, listen, I don't know, it just came on. I don't feel like I should go to the hospital right now, but my chest is hurting. It's mild right now, but it probably stopped. Just check up on me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because I do have those flutters, and sometimes, like I said, I am stressed out, but sometimes I don't know when I'm stressed out. Can
yeah,
be overwhelmed. So having that open line of communication is amazing too.
yeah. It's definitely important that you have, uh, and that go back to healing,
Mhm.
building your village.
Mhm.
Um, is so important. If you got the wrong people around you, that can exacerbate your symptoms.
Oh yeah.
You know, if
Your
you
body tells you if your body tells you if something is wrong with that person. Like for me, my anxiety kicks up when somebody's just not right. Now I can be like, I don't like that person. I don't know why I don't like that person, but that person, my anxiety acts up every time I'm around that person, and it later comes out. But your body tells you when somebody is not good for you.
yeah, um, we don't have to wait till we are on our deathbed to get it. We don't have to wait for to see all 8 red flags when we saw a faint pink one to get it.
Mm-hmm.
If our body is telling us that this doesn't feel good, it's okay to walk away from it. I don't have to prove to you why I walked away from you. I don't have to explain to you why I walked away. As long as I'm not mistreating you. If it doesn't feel good to me, I have to step away.
Yep. And for me, I feel like I don't owe that person anything, but for me, I feel like I should have that dialogue with that person. Like I may not go in depth because I probably 9 times out of 10 already warned that person so many different times. And actually, before I walk away, like, you're not good for me. And because people don't want to hear that they're not good for you. People don't want to hear that they act a certain type of way or they cause your anxiety or whatever to act up. They don't want to hear that because that's negative to them. And so if people will have more of awareness to their actions, they will listen and learn from that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But people like to project on other people, and
Yep.
that's just a whole nother story. But I feel like when you are healed and you are working on you and you are the best version of you in each season, you understand a lot of things and you take accountability and you are able to articulate and communicate with understanding to people that does things to you or things that you don't like. And I feel like when you're not healed, it's hard for you to do that. Or people that feel like you're attacking them when you're really not attacking them. You're telling them the real, but they're not used to people being honest to them, so they feel like attacked. So
Yeah.
they,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And you know what? It doesn't always have to be like the person is a bad person.
right.
It could be, for example, I've been in therapy 8 years.
Mm.
8 long, healthy years. Okay. My therapy journey has not ended. I am healing right now, looks like almost like the new Christian that is just holier than thou. You get what I'm saying? And when I say that, I have to be mindful to not judge and mistreat people because I am healed in certain areas that I don't want touched no more.
Mm.
They may not even be aware that they are I don't want to say re-triggering. For example, I have I deal with all kind of people. And when I am working or around some friends, they be turned up. They be turned up. They be having the ball. They be, whatever. I have friends that have ADHD, things like that. My body doesn't like to be overstimulated. But not everybody is aware that they the life of the party right now. And so I'll be like, now I have to find the median of what works for Treva and what works for my people without being mean or rude or judgmental because they don't have the handle on themselves the way that I have the handle on me.
Mm.
So it's not always a bad thing if they toxic, whatever. It could just be, hey, maybe after all I went through, I think we've spoken outside of here. I just don't suffer with fibromyalgia. I'm a 3-time stroke survivor. My nervous system is very, very sensitive. Protecting my peace looks a little stingy. So I have to work on having those gentle conversations when I'm uncomfortable, when I'm in overstimulating, situations. Or if I don't have that agitation, I'm just agitated. I don't feel good. My fibro acting up. I'm irritable. You get what I'm saying? Like those are conversations that have to be had amongst healthy people.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, tell me, how do you maintain your energy and motivation while managing your symptoms?
Um, I prepare daily. And when I prepare for my day. Um, One big thing is changing what I eat.
Listen, that is like 90%.
That's 90%. And it's not about wanting to lose weight or gain weight. It is a lot of what we put in our body causes inflammation.
It does. It absolutely does.
Our bodies retain water. We already know, or people like myself, you, and any other person that's battling with any autoimmune diseases and things like that, specifically meaning we almost don't have no control over it. The only control we have over it is what are we putting in our body. So like for me, focusing on an anti-inflammatory type of diet, um, hydration. But I really had to go back to preparing for the day. Get up an extra hour early, breathe. Don't start off in a rush. If you starting off in a rush, if you starting off in a rush, you already depleted.
Yes, 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 yes.
Um, trying to just like almost doing that cool down at the end of the day or before bed, making sure that I'm not taking work home.
Oh, Lord. Absolutely.
Let me tell you, don't ask me nothing while I just got up from my desk and you see my coat on. We could talk about it tomorrow. I'm not taking it home. Well, this patient, I'm not taking it home. It has to stay where it belongs. That's the big thing with us as Americans. We are constantly overlapping,
Yes.
and not finding the work-life balance. And again, it shouldn't take for us to discover that we got a diagnosis and then let that be the reason why, or um, we go through some life-changing, catastrophic like situations.
But
So I
it's
really prepare.
that's so preparing is good. So that's really crazy because people don't realize or they don't want to listen or they're hard headed until it actually hits home. So sometimes people really just gotta feel it in order to just make changes, which is unfortunate, right?
Let me tell you, at 32, when because I didn't look like I was what I was going through, the doctors almost overlooked and said, she not having a stroke. She ain't had no stroke. And I said, wait, look at this picture I took when I was at the house because my face has shifted.
Mm.
She too young to have a stroke.
See, that's the ignorance.
You get what I'm saying? Because I didn't look like what I was
Mhm.
experiencing and what they thought I was experiencing. Oh, she just stressed. She might just need a stress test. We know that. But I'm just saying, like, you get
You
what I'm
definitely
saying?
gotta find the right team.
And thank God that I had a MD that was like, you know what? I want the stroke team in here. Her family history is not good. Her parents are deceived, all this stuff due to cardiac issues. Let's get a workup. And sure enough, the doctor comes in and was like, you didn't have one, you had two. I was like, I'm hungry. And God said, I'm good. I got to go. I'm not staying here because at that point, it was like a shock. I'm getting out of here and I'm finna do right by myself.
Mm. That was a wake up call.
That was more than a wake up call for me. And you know what? And it took some time
Of
to
course,
find out this is too much, or to manage different environments, work stress, things like that. But I'm quick to say, God, you ain't got to show, you don't got to remind me. I'm cool. Like, but I prepare. What is my day looking like? I prepare for change. You get what I'm saying? So that things don't feel like it's last minute or overwhelming.
Child, I can't stand last minute things. I can't stand last minute things. It bothers me so bad.
But then that's where you have to say, I can't let it stress me out.
Mm-hmm.
I have to adjust. I don't like it,
And I
but I
do.
have to adjust.
And I do. And I do. But I was just like, what? Really? Okay. I'm gonna call you back. Let me get my attitude together. Let me get myself
Yeah.
together.
If that means talking to yourself or whatever preparing for your family, your household looks like. For me, I don't have kids, but I have dogs. I put myself back on a schedule to make sure that I'm disciplined to myself, um, to my brain, to my body. If I am not functioning in the morning, I'm no good to nobody. And then guess what? Treva got an attitude. Treva got to move. Well, guess what? My body is inflamed. My body is hurting. My body doesn't feel good. Like, so we have to take in consideration.
You gotta be kind.
Be kind to
You
yourself.
gotta be kind. You gotta be kind. Like you have to be kind because you never know what nobody's going through. And that one thing that you can say can really end somebody's day. You know what I mean? They just on by a little thread. You have to be kind. You never know what nobody is going through.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful that I got into therapy because I didn't know what being kind was. I knew what speaking my mind was. My mom said, "You say what's on your mind." Oh, okay, cool. But being kind, it took therapy and for me to understand, well, how do I like people talking to me? Even to this day,
Absolutely.
I'd be like, "Ooh, let me think about how I'm gonna position my words." Or like I'm the sarcastic friend. I'd be like, "Oops, I didn't mean to say that way." But it's me saying, "Hey, just a gentle reminder to myself. Being kind to yourself is very hard until you master it."
Anything that we do that's good is hard. Any
Yeah.
elevation, any new project, any new job, any new move,
And we'll be
house.
quick to jump and show and teach somebody else, or
Yes, it's
yeah.
hard. It's hard with any elevation in life, but to do the wrong thing is so easy. To do the wrong thing is so
It takes no
easy.
effort.
It takes no effort to do the wrong thing. That's why I say, like, people that's being stressed out and things that they do that they want to conquer or elevate or just anything new in their life that they want to pursue or whatever, and they go through this, oh my God, this doubt and all that. No, that's good. You got to get through that,
It's
because
normal.
if it was easy to obtain, everybody would be doing it.
And there would be no growth.
There
There
would
would
be
be
no
no
growth.
no like significant, like you wouldn't be able to, there would be no individuality.
No.
And you cannot grow if you don't fail, fall, or make a mistake.
And people need to understand that success is not easy. Success is not easy, and success come with problems. It come with different type of problems. People don't understand. Like, people see success as, oh, I made it, and it's all peaches and cream. No, 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 no. You get a different level of problems. You got to take the good with the bad, and people don't understand that
Yep.
until they actually understand or analyze. Like I had to do. Like, I'm like, being successful, knocking your goals down. Oh, you get different type of problems,
Yeah.
because you be like, oh, I made it. Oh, this happened. Oh, I made it. Oh, like, why is it
Yeah.
honey cold?
More money, different tax bracket,
Yeah.
friends acting funny. Like it doesn't, everything. Healing comes with its own problems. You want to know why?
Yes.
Because when you're healing, you have to treat yourself better. And if you're doing it the right way, it shows.
Oh, yeah.
So then
And
people
people
are
don't
like
like that.
people don't like that.
People don't like that.
Because without saying a word, you're setting the expectation as to how they must show up for you, how they must treat you, how you value yourself, and they can't treat you the same.
Listen.
You can't even sit around certain conversations.
No, because it's annoying. Like, what? What are y'all even talking about?
And then you
That
got to
shows
think
the
about
growth.
being mindful to them, because they not ready to grow. They like the idea of
Of you.
healing.
Yeah, yeah.
They love when testimonial poetry is on the mic, because I can tell you what it is or how to do it because I've done it. But then when
Exactly.
testimonial sitting here as your friend, they be like, "What? Because this ain't no lie. This is true."
And
That
that
feel good though.
that's what's wrong. A lot of people have friends or family, whatever, that don't speak life into them, that don't hold them accountable, that don't speak the truth to you.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if your people that are around you that say those are your people, they should be able to tell the truth to you about what you're doing and how they perceiving it, and you should be able to take that in. People shouldn't have to tiptoe and dance around you. Like, before I start saying uncomfortable things to people, because I know how I can be, I'm like, listen, I love you, or I'm not trying to be mean, but I've noticed, or you may, or, to try to soften the blow. But I have to tell you this, because if I don't tell you this, I'm going to be bothered. And watch, I'll be bothered when you're just happy go lucky.
Yeah.
Savannah's not going to be bothered with nothing.
But-
It's got to come off me.
Yeah, and you know what? They are, some of those friends are quick to say or quick to give you to critique you or whatever in the moment that it feels comfortable, so they can notice it until you say, "Hey, well, we practice the same behavior."
Or what about those friends that's like, so I say, hey, I don't like what you did to me the other day. That really made me feel less than. And then you say, well, you made me feel like, and it's like, how are you taking this moment from me? You should have said what I made you feel like at the time that you felt like it, right? This is my moment. So I don't care how you feel right now.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and so you have to be mindful. You have to protect your peace. Like, it's almost a distance where people cannot get too close to me. Like, I know some of my fellow poets be like, "Who Treva something else." She is because she worked hard to get here.
Say it again.
I worked my ass off to get here. So yeah, every couple of months you're gonna be like, "Oh, she a little bit more stern." You're right. I worked my tail off to heal. I worked my tail off to say, "Hey, I am worthy." I worked my tail off to say, "This person can't mistreat me. I don't want that type of relationship no more." Heck, I can't even deal with some people arguing too loud. Like I just don't want it.
And
It
you
took.
got that
I
right.
have that right. And
They gotta respect it.
it gets lonely. Healing and taking care of your mental health,
Ooh.
it get lonely.
Healing, taking care of your mental health, and exceeding and elevating, it gets long. It does get lonely because the people that you thought were your people, where they at? They
They're
think you
only your
acting
people in the
funny.
moment of complacement.
That's right. As long as you stay where they want you to stay at, you are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That's not
And
what I'm here
and
for.
I've learned that yeah, I have my own goals and things like that. I don't have to sit still with them.
No, you definitely don't.
I'm going to keep going. They can't come with me. They can't come sit at the table with me. They can't come to this poetry event out of town with me. None of that.
Got that right.
And so it may look like you're acting funny when you're healing. And then eventually, if those people are not ready to really heal and take heed of what's going on and learn, those people, they fall off. You don't even have to do anything.
Absolutely.
You don't have to do much.
Absolutely. That is so true. That is so true. What are your strategies or tips do you have for staying organized and productive in a demanding field like the mental health field?
Um, for me, you know, I one thing I really do. So I know we mentioned that I was an author. The title of my book is called Walk Through Your Pain, Living Your Truth. And we'll talk about more of it at the towards the end. I have my own specific copy at my desk. I go back and I read, even though I wrote it, I'm like, I wrote that. Or I go back to my reflective pages and scribble if I need to.
Mm.
I find whether it is desk art of affirmations, whatever that is going to visually remind me to be in the moment right now in a positive way. Because I take care of people who yell and curse me out all day. Pain management mixed with psychology. Sometimes it's easy to forget about you if you're feeling fatigue at your desk. Did you drink your water? Did you even, take your lunch? And so I have like little reminder things or just encouragement pieces on my desk because I have to remind myself that I do come first.
You do.
They are my patients. They are very important. But if I don't fix this, I can't show up for them.
That's right. People don't understand that.
If I'm on the phone and I'm triaging in my brain, I'm huffing and puffing, I'm really not giving them the attention that they need. Or if I haven't adjusted my attitude before I go call them out the lobby, I'm not finna give them the best visit and do my very best with this pain doctor for them.
And the fact that you know that is amazing. A lot of people know and won't correct it or don't realize it
Yeah,
and had no idea why people complain about them.
yeah. Or you have to think about, especially if you're someone who deals with any health care, like
Mhm.
any ailments, or autoimmune immune disorders, things like that. Remember, take those few moments in between whatever your job is. Uh, put yourself first. We are in a time. Don't nobody care about us as employees. And I'm being honest and transparent. If you got somebody that say go take a 5, let me tell you, you need to stay with them, okay? But seriously, we are in a very rough time. We don't know what it's going to look like moving forward, and if we don't start putting ourselves first and setting the tone to let somebody know that, hey, I'm going to take my break. No, you cannot exhaust my lunch for me. Setting those boundaries are going to take someone a very long way.
Absolutely, and it is sad if you don't have those jobs that have like mental health sessions in place, because I know I have those. And telling you to take a 5 minute, maybe they do it, maybe people just don't know about it.
A lot of people don't know about them because we're so used to just keep going. No, if you in healthcare and nobody is at harm, please take your lunch, take your 15, regardless of what you're doing. If everybody is safe, take care of you. Like, I didn't appreciate naps until I got in my 30s. Like,
We all appreciate
let
that,
me
though we
tell you,
saw.
like you be like,
Like,
because before therapy, I'll be like, I'm leaving one job, I'm gonna get home, I'm gonna get dressed for the other job, and I'm gonna keep going. No, I just sat on the couch. Everybody need to leave me alone, or I'm finna read me a book. I need my 2 hours to myself. Like, even with parents, do it with your kids. Whatever that looks like for the home, separate.
you know, it's funny that you say that. Before I go on to the next question, my daughter knows. My son, he plays so much. I don't know if he knows, but I typically be like, give me a minute. I need to hop in the shower. I need to wash my day off, because when I get off work and pick her up or whatever, and I'm done with that portion of it,
Mm-hmm.
I have to take a shower. I have to take a shower. I have to listen to some music. Sometimes I gotta soak in a tub with some Epsom salt, listen to some music with some candles, and have my Netflix or something playing. Or, I'm in quiet. And people are like, how can you just sit in quiet? If you can't sit in your own thoughts, you are not healed. I can
You don't
sit.
even have to sit in your thoughts. If you can't sit in peace,
Yes.
I'm gonna need you to go somewhere.
I need it, and my daughter did too. Sometimes, when I let her have it, and some people be like, she only no. My daughter tell me like, Mom, I'm tired, because you do get up every day for school early in the morning. You do play your flute, and band and homework and all the other stuff. So I get it. So the weekend, if you want to sleep in, I'm gonna respect that. Or sometimes she'd be like, I just need a nap before I do my homework. I respect that. Like, whatever works for you that's not hurting anything, I let her have that, because why not?
Yeah,
I don't know what you had to deal with at school. I only know what you tell me. You know what I'm saying? I only
right.
know what you tell me. So, if she needs that, I let her have it.
Yeah,
Because I feel like people want to be so controlling. They feel like their kids is for them to control. In a certain extent, yes, but not to where it's they laying down and resting. Oh, go give me this, or that's not why we have kids. At least for me, like, no, like I respect my kids, but they know not to play with me too.
yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? So we got that balance.
yeah.
We got that balance, and to the point where my daughter questions, she'd be like, because I'm a yeller sometimes. She'd be like, "Do you have to yell? Like, why are you yelling?" I be looking at her like, okay,
How do you
let
receive
me
that?
kind of, in that moment, I'm in my brain, I'm like, who is she talking to? But I taught her that, because when she used to yell when she was little, I'm like, why do you have to yell? Like, what? Talk calmly. And now she reverses on me, and it's like, I don't have to yell to get my point across. And that's what she says to me. And in my mind, I just be like, I have to take a minute and then respond to her, because she's right. But just hearing it out loud like that, to this day, it just
You
be
don't want
like,
nobody telling you the truth sometimes.
yeah. And I'll be like, all right. So, and I'll correct myself. But I taught her that, because why are you yelling? Why are you yelling? So I shouldn't be yelling either.
All
But I
that energy,
do.
yeah. And I didn't even I can totally understand what she mean, because when we take all that energy just to do something rage like that, we're asking for a flare up.
Yeah, and honestly, it I could honestly say, and I'm not gonna tell her. I could 90% of the times it don't be her. It be me.
And she's just reminding you, Mom, you don't have to do that.
It be me. So, I'll sit there and I'll just be like, but when I am wrong, I do apologize to her, because I want her to understand.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who it is, I don't care, grandma, dad. they are wrong. They need to apologize to you. So when I am wrong, I definitely be like, you know what, I'm so sorry. I'm going to say I'm sorry. I'm not going to say I'm apologizing because I am sorry.
Yeah.
I made a mistake because
Yeah.
of X, Y, and Z. So I do that.
Yeah.
I do that. But I do be taking out the
Yeah.
man. I do.
That self time is so important. I'm so used to it. It scared my friends, the ones that I do have. Or like when the poets, hey, can you come do this last minute? Or you want to go? And I'll be like, I need a nap. And especially some of my friends, they be turned up. I'll be like, I need a nap. Boundaries. And they be like, all right, all right, all right. Or I'll tell them, like, you know what? Like I stop pushing myself further than I can really go. If it's a Monday and a Tuesday, I'd have had the roughest day at clinic, and you trying to get me to come to something at 5:30, I can't.
That's okay.
And I set the boundaries. Don't last minute mean nothing. Don't y'all already know I'm not coming. But like I stop overdoing it. I stop pushing myself because usually I will go in my scrubs or something. And I said, it's okay. You don't have to go. You don't. Why go there if you're not in the best mood, if you're agitated, if you're irritated, if you're, your body's not feeling good or whatever that may be? Why go? If you can't go there happy, don't go.
You're absolutely right. Like I don't not be happy, but I love to support people, right? And I have
Yeah.
moments where like I'll go to your thing, I'll go to his thing, I'll go to that, I'll go to like 3, 4 different things in a row, and just to say, just to show you I supported you and showed up because that means the world to people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Even if I get the pop in 5 minutes, like listen, I can't stay, but I want to wish you good luck. I'll do that, but I stop too. Like, and when I stop, people don't know why I stop, but I stop sometimes because I'm tired. I can't keep that up. So once I rejuvenate Savannah, then I'll start back doing that again.
Yep.
So I know how long to go for, and then I'll know when to stop.
Yeah.
But I do listen to my body.
You got to. You
Um,
have to.
what do you wish more people understood about the connection between chronic illnesses and mental health?
I wish I truly just wish that people were just more kind. You can't wish for somebody to really understand something they're not experiencing, but just because I look like I can take your BS today don't mean I'm in the mood to take your BS today. So be kind. If you could genuinely be kind, like, do you know how many people we could save mentally daily from going into you could have been almost going through a crisis before you started this show, and all it takes is somebody to say the wrong damn thing. You get what I'm saying? Or John could be walking down the street and we see John all the time. He be hooping, he be doing all this and that, and he could be fighting suicide. And all it takes is the wrong words to him. So I really wish that we lived in a time and in a world where people can practice kindness more.
Absolutely. Let's take a pause for a minute and look at some of the people on the screen. I can. You want to read that out loud since you are the guest today?
So it looks like from GP. Hello, I have a question.
What's your question, GP? Oh, I. what is that?
He says see the grid. Oh,
Oh,
I
okay.
guess we wasn't worried about it before.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone who is newly diagnosed with fibromyalgia or any other auto immune disease facing similar mental health challenges?
um, if you haven't already, start building your support team. Whether it is with your primary, if you're seeing a rheumatologist, even though it's a new diagnosis, be proactive and seek a therapist.
Yes.
It is really challenging for somebody to get a new diagnosis and they already been feeling like life is going to be over or whatever that pain feel like for them. So to tell somebody a diagnosis, you don't really know how it's truly going to be managed, or if you've exhausted all your options medication wise. Um, It's a lot. It depends on what it is. It's a
It
lot.
is. It
You go
is.
through a lot of testing. You go through a lot of imaging. You go through a lot of spinal taps, all that stuff. But some people don't have a support team. They just got somebody to take them to the appointment.
So let's talk about that, or let's just touch bases on it just for a brief moment. If you don't have the support for like family and friends, to say you one of those people, what would you say they support would be?
Um, Utilize your PC, your primary care. Ask for resources about therapy. Support groups. Some people don't know that there are support groups
Almost for anything.
for anything. We spend 75% of our day on Facebook, right? You can go meet a group of strangers across the world who can uplift you. And I said that's always the case, but networking will allow you to potentially receive resources that you're not aware of.
Yeah, but I just
Uh,
wanted you to say that too, because some people don't have family and things of that
yeah,
nature. So it's good
utilize
that
your
you,
doctors.
yeah,
It depends on what type of work setting. If you're in college or you're in school or you're a teen, utilize that social worker. Utilize whoever um, that could possibly bridge that gap between you and your doctors. Because some people are diagnosed early, high school, college.
mm-hmm.
Um, you got some people, college careers are ruined because they just got newly diagnosed. They can't play sports no more. So you got your social workers. Um, it's never too early to start therapy, especially with some type of diagnosis.
Absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely,
because you're going to go through the emotional roller coaster of the what ifs
yeah.
until you truly get a tackle and a handle on your diagnosis, uh, which takes some
And you got to
time.
educate yourself.
You got to educate
You
yourself.
understand? You got to accept it first. You got to accept it, and then that's the first thing. And then
Yeah,
you got to start educating yourself, looking into things of that nature. You got to want, just like a new job. You
yeah.
got to learn about it.
And you got to be able to separate whatever your life had been before, because
Exactly.
you may have trauma. May have been trying to heal on some other levels, and then now you got this new onset, and you're like, oh crap. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
now it's time to just go lay it all on the table to somebody.
Absolutely.
Help me separate it all, organize it, not necessarily dissect it, because that's what the doctors are for.
Yeah.
But help me organize it,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can get ahead of it,
Mm-hmm.
and practice good behaviors or techniques or whatever. If you have a gym membership, see if they got some Zumba or some yoga classes, whatever your doctors have already been saying exercise wise. Don't forget about those resources.
Exactly.
Start somewhere. Don't wait till you're in the last stage of something or nothing's helping. You about to get a pain pump or whatever the case may be. That's the hardest, is to be towards the end stage of something or
And you could have
the
prevented it.
yeah, yep,
Definitely could have prevented it from getting worse.
yeah.
Um, Looking ahead, what are your hopes for your mental health and overall well-being?
For me, it's just to keep discovering who Treva is and loving every part of that. Um, like I said, 8 years sound like a long time. It's flown by for me, honestly. But I still have some growing to do. I still have a lot of, and it's not necessarily my mental. It's more so, okay, now just because you're at peace, make sure you're still being kind. Make sure you're still supporting people. Make sure that as a mental health advocate, that you're finding balance, and make sure that you're not taking on people's problems. So we're not going backwards.
I love
So
that.
it
I
takes
love that.
a lot, because healing does not stop.
It don't.
Every time you think you heal, here come another triumph, and then you're like, well, how do I get over this? Or I thought I was prepared for this, but clearly I'm not. And so here you go, talking to your therapist. You know what? This took place. What I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do? I thought we was done with this. Like, you get what I'm saying? And I find myself doing that here and there.
I don't think that is bad at all to have a therapist. People label that and gave that such a bad label, but it's really not. It's really just you answer your own questions when you're talking to a therapist sometimes, because you just talk and they let you talk and you hear yourself and they ask you questions. You like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I love therapy when I was going to therapy. It was like my best friend. I couldn't wait till Thursday came. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you, I told my therapist yesterday, I said, I know I throw you for, we be on this roller coaster, and I wouldn't even want nobody on the roller coaster with me, okay? Like, I tell her, like, I don't know what I would do. But yeah,
You
like,
do know she provided you the tools enough to survive it
sometimes I forget I had them tools, though.
because you were probably so dependent on her.
Not even that. It just be sometimes our brain moves so fast that
It does.
we forget the smallest things. We forget to think. Some people, I tell people all the time, I'm the friend, I'm that smart friend that's dumb. Like, I have all of it. But if you got my adrenaline,
One time, you so smart, you're dumb.
so smart, you don't mean it, because they know when they slow down, they know. But when you got that adrenaline going, or that rage, or whatever that is, you skip past all the smallest detail, and then you be like, "That's how easy that was," or "Why I didn't think of that?" Because you was ready.
You know what?
You was ready.
You know, I used to be a fighter, and it was no thinking. You know what I mean? And like just how I used to be into now.
Could have been in jail.
When I
We could have been in jail.
listen, child.
I said we. I think I said, my God, you could have killed a kid. Like,
Listen, like, but now when I tell you, I think because like I'm so in tune with myself. So I treat all my relationships the same. My friendships, my motherhood, my like anybody that's closely connected to me, we have conversations. Like if you're irritating me, I'm going to get on you up on you close and personal. I want to make sure I have your attention. I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to tell you. And once I find myself getting there, I'll be like, you know what? I'm done with this conversation. This conversation is going to end. I'll give you a chance to talk, but just not right now. I remove myself, or certain things that I would do because I feel it going there. Like once I start elevating my voice, and my voice is not equipped to yell because I get the coughing and stuff when I start yelling, and I don't I don't like that, and I don't like being mad because my forehead is it hurts and too much things going on. So I recognize when I need to walk away or I need to just be like, and I'm one of those friends too. We can have that conversation and we can go out to eat because I'm not mad at you.
because I'm gonna eat in silence. First of all,
No, we gonna talk. We gonna talk.
But
we
no,
gonna talk.
listen, so do you have that conversation when you're already worked up, or do you try to eliminate that conversation? I mean, try to eliminate getting worked up.
No. So if you do something to me, I need to talk to you ASAP. I gotta wait for the right moment because we're not gonna embarrass ourselves.
Okay.
But I'm talking to you that day. I'm gonna try my best to get you that day. And if I can't get you that day in person, I'm calling you on that phone. You're gonna hear what I got to say because I can't have that on me. Like I used to not say nothing, and not like unbothered bull. It because I gotta tell you what you're doing because you by the time I tell you what you're doing, you done did it 1,000 times already.
And the world we in right now.
And it's like, you know what? You don't get no more passes.
Yeah.
I tell you. And it's gonna be today.
And so for me, like that's so I really appreciate you saying that, because so for me, my healing sometimes to people who have known me, meaning they've watched me grow up, they knew that Treva was a Tasmanian devil. Okay, she was something else. They would say Treva was shut down. No, Treva found peace. Treva don't even have the energy to think about it twice. So sometimes that may come off as she nonchalant or don't care. No, what happened is I've controlled all of this, and I'm gonna let you have that by yourself. And it's not even that serious for me to say anything. And I'll be like, and so the delivery may be different, but in my mind, I'm at peace. My brothers say all the time, "You are not the same person." I'm like, I hope I'm not, but
so people I don't care for real, I will never address it. But I'll do things to irritate them when I show up. Because people are literally bothered by my presence. That's not a me problem. That's a you problem.
that's the difference. And guess
So,
what? They
people
got the eye. You're gonna torture them by being there. That's enough.
that's what I'm saying.
and so that's the good thing about healing, because you're gonna always be in spaces where you're not wanted.
And I don't care.
And there be the people that need to hear you. You're not wanted. Like that's man.
Tone, do I care? I do not care. I come up in my best, and I know you. That's the you problem. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Loud with it too. How you? Oh my God. Okay, no, we get off topic. Are there any resources, books, websites, support groups that you have found particularly helpful in managing your mental health, especially related to the invisible illness, rheumatoid arthritis specifically? Not rheumatoid arthritis. I'm sorry, fibromyalgia.
When it comes to books, there's so many out there. When it comes to me mentally, like books that support my mental in the process of it. I tell people when they're ready to start controlling it, those books are going to be up to them. Find what kind of meets them where they are at that time, right?
So would you suggest them like
stay off the internet, because that makes when I say stay off Google will make it worse. Right?
Oh, Google will make everything worse.
But like go into a library, or we always on our phones. Look in those apps, those free book apps. See if you can find some literature, whether it's audio or whatnot. Start to like surround yourself with people that are similar, not to trauma bond, but we're not trauma bonding, or we don't want to be in misery together, but how are we navigating it to help you get resources? I started with books. When I got tired, even before I got to therapy, I started with literature and just prepare my mind or whatever, and things like that. And then if you find that author or that book or that series or whatever that inspires you, stay on that path. Like I have over 700 physical books in my place, right? And I used to have more, but like when it comes to me, and I need to get back here because I done got off track. Joyce Myers does it for me.
People keep saying that. Did you say her name, Joyce Myers, before? Her name is mentioned a lot.
Joyce Myers does it for me. She's a minister, and she talk about everything, but the authenticity, the realness, her truth, the rawness behind it, it makes you feel like I'm not by myself. Somebody else done been through this. Somebody else done whatever. You get what I'm saying? She would have you sitting down in a corner with yourself. So like that's, it really depends on where the person is and where they want to get started.
They just got to start.
They got to start.
Like, know the definition of it, start.
You got to start.
Yeah, you just got to start learning your body and things of that nature. And you definitely can live a healthy life and be more of an advocate to you, because doctors are only as good as we are.
And if you feel like wherever you started is draining you, pull away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Go a different direction.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
When it comes to the mental health aspect about it, again, you got your social workers. Let that primary care doctor know, hey, I need somebody on this side though. I know you got me over here, but connect me with somebody. Ask to be connected. You have to say, I need help.
And it's okay.
Let me tell you, it's the best thing I ever did. It's the best thing I ever did.
People don't understand. It is okay. It's okay to ask for help.
It's okay to not be okay.
And it's okay.
My support group, my poets that I call my friends, I'll tell them, I can't show up for y'all this week. I'm not healthy. Not meaning like I want to kill myself.
Right.
I am overwhelmed. I am exhausted. Treva is not Treva. And if I can't give you all the love and everything, if it's not like a major feature and it's just poetry, I can't show up. But I'll make it up. I can't. And we have to get comfortable with being honest with ourselves.
And saying no.
Saying no. That's my favorite. No. That's my favorite word. No is my favorite word. No and no explanation. But you gotta want to start. When you say, hey, Go to a library. It is free books. Go to the library. Um, there are bookstores around. Go into these small shops that focus on whether it's acupuncture, natural remedies. We have so many black owned businesses. Don't just look for the medication cure. Look for um, nutrition.
Yeah, because there's a lot of home remedies that I do that
Yeah,
you do not have to take medication for it.
you don't have to take medication.
You don't. I'm not opposed to medication, but you don't have to. You don't want to, whatever is convenient for you or how they want to do it.
I want less of it, but
Exactly.
Get to that point where you say, I want to do better for me, to me.
Mm-hmm.
And let that be the starting point.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you could share one message with others that's battling mental health issues alongside of their chronic illnesses, what would it be?
Um, you are not your diagnosis. You are a few characters that they wrote on paper, but you don't have to be your diagnosis. You have symptoms. Your diagnosis come with symptoms. You don't have to live in it.
Absolutely.
You don't. That diagnosis is going to follow you for the rest of your life. The symptoms won't if you modify them,
Absolutely.
if you change them, if you change your mindset, if you eat better. And I tell people that all the time, whether it's a physical ailment or a mental ailment, you are not your diagnosis.
That is so true. That is so true. And I know that just because, like I said, I'm so happy. I'm in remission right now. That doesn't mean I don't go through things.
Right.
But I'm not full blown with it. And it doesn't mean it went away. It just means that my lupus is not active.
You got a break.
That's right.
Enjoy the break. But when
That's right.
when we start to say I have or it's because of this, now it become an excuse.
It do.
And we hinder ourselves because we believe that something is truly wrong with us that is eventually going to be, like, no. It's everybody goes through something.
They do. Everybody do go through something. Everybody do go through something. I definitely got to have you on again. You are such a breath of fresh air. Like, it's so much that's going on with you. So much in my mind that I wanted to speak of. But I'm like, no, we gonna get off track.
Right, yeah.
And it's such a dope vibe. So I thank you so much for coming on Lupus Has No Face podcast platform to just tell your story and to let people know what you're dealing with and what's important to you. So you definitely going to be back on next time.
I appreciate
you
the
are
opportunity.
so welcome, my love. So to all of our supporters out there, you are not your diagnosis. You are never your diagnosis. You are more than your diagnosis. There is help out there. Just seek for it. Do not feel guilty about asking for help. Do not feel less than by asking for help. You are helping yourself by asking for help. So if you need help, ask for help. It is there.
Absolutely.
Yes. So until then, we are here every Wednesday at 6:30 on all platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in to Lupus Has No Face podcast with your host, Savannah, and our special guest, Trivia. Have a good night.